Oh, YouTube. What's going on? Hey, man. Here for a review. This is our first review on the channel. Except, Spider-Man No Way Home. I think that was a short. No, I think I may have uploaded that. Anyway, today we're reviewing another Marvel project. Unfortunately, it's not from the MCU, so keep that in mind. Morbius. When a Spider-Man villain, I watched them. Disclaimer. I don't read comics. I have never went out of my way to read a comic book. Just disclaimer. I know people may be watching, but I haven't went out of my way to see a comic book. But I've enjoyed comic book related things since I probably could walk, since Spider-Man reruns, all of that. But to get to it, so I have no attachment to Morbius. I don't care what they did with this movie, as long as it was enjoyable. I literally don't care. Like, if they walked out and Morbius was singing and dancing, I still wouldn't care because I have no attachment to Morbius whatsoever. Seeing him in the old Spider-Man show growing up was just like, okay, cool. So to give him his own movie, I think we both know why he's getting his own movie, because money, and Sony has, the rights. But going into this movie, I did see the delays as a red flag, but one thing that's the disclaimer is, like, this movie got promoted as something totally different. Like, the trailers in the movie are something totally different. Like, it's drastically different from the trailers. Tyrese had, like, as many scenes I can count on my hand right now. I thought I was supposed to see more of that. I'll get into the post-credit scenes later, because that's a whole nother rant on, like, what. But this movie, I go to a movie to, like, I'm not super critical of movies. I go to movies to have a fun time. You will have a fun time watching this movie because you will be laughing at the movie. And not because it's comedic. Like, there was no joke in a movie that I said, oh my God. It's more of a, what is this? Who created this and who signed off on this? Jared Leto, my man. The first time me knowing you was Suicide Squad, and people kind of on edge about that. Now you come over here to Marvel? Hey, you come over here to Sony. This is not even Marvel. You just come over to Sony and you do this? Can somebody in the comments tell me a good Jared Leto movie so I can kind of like wipe the slate clean? Because it's starting to look like, who is this guy and why does he pick the worst things? Joker it was cool, it was straight, Harley Quinn carried, and that's kind of sad. Not to disrespect Harley Quinn, but you're the Joker. But anyway, this movie, you will laugh at this movie because it's just like, what is this? What is this? It felt like the movie was pieced together and they didn't know what direction it was going. Like, it started off with the bat thing in the hand that they showed a million times, and I thought he would get his powers there and then get lost on a boat and then, do the thing. Turns out he did that just to collect the bats to study and keep in a container in his lab. But it seemed more like the bats, cause I thought the bats were gonna consume him. He got his powers then, pretty cool. But the way he got him, it's like serum, I go berserk. I just don't know. I just don't know what was the direction. It was very confusing to me. And I'm just like, what are they doing? So that's Morbius. That's Morbius, the main character. Let's get a little bit more of him. He has no chemistry with anyone. With the villain, maybe, sorta. But with the love interest, none. No tension there whatsoever. Like, no tension. Like, they do the cliche, come close, kiss on the roof, but it's like, okay? Can I get, like, some previous thing? I could tell that she cared about him, but it's like, And she kind of had only one move, the I'm worried about Morbius mood. And it's like, okay. It's like, I don't know what this movie thought it was going to be. Like, I seen like the ad, a new Marvel Legend where? Like, Sony at this point, you're just trying to make money. Venom 2 was garbage? Yeah. 7 out of 10 for Venom 2. But no, back to Morbius. Back to Morbius. It's kind of like, what are they doing? It's like they're grasping at the coattails of the MCU trying to do something. This isn't the 2000s where you create one of the best Spider-Man. This isn't that anymore. You haven't hit in a while. I want you to stop. I want you to give it back to Marvel, but I know you will never do that because the money is too green. It's too great. It's too great. So I know you won't give it back to the MCU. But don't even try to play with us. Don't even try to involve yourself with the MCU. That'd be the best case scenario for everyone in this scenario. Because this Morbius movie, it's like, I'm watching it, and the movie is going along, and it's like, where is the switch? I'm confused. So, okay. Movie starts out. He gets his powers. He loses the whole boat scene we saw 1,000 times in the trailer. The next time he kills somebody, is that the end of the movie? Like, you have a vampire movie and he only kills a group of people on a boat? I'm confused. I want to say I'm saying that right. He kills the people on the boat and no one else. And I thought they would take the Venom approach and like he would be like, certain people I can kill, you know, but they never took that approach. And I'm trying to think of the fight scenes. It was only the boat. Okay, one thing I do have to give this movie, it looked great. It looked great. The powers look great. They do. A little bit confusing on what they are, but they look great. They look real great. I like the bleeding effect of the buildings and the colors. I really do. I really do. I really do. It was nice. It was nice to see. And I feel like the art was pretty good. You know, I can't give this to Morbius. That's the only thing I'm willing to give. The powers were pretty cool. It was pretty nice. Pretty cool. I'm just like, okay, Morbius. But other than that, it's nothing. It's nothing at all. Now let's track it on to the other characters, which is the lack of characters. You got the nurse. She was okay. Like I said, they had no type of chemistry, no type of tension there. You know, let's break it down to the villain. This villain may be one of the cringiest villains I have ever seen in a superhero movie. His performance was just on another level of like, what are you even doing? What are you doing? And I think this suffered the same for Venom 2 is fight more. Fight more. This is a vampire movie. Well, not a vampire movie. You are vampire villains or heroes, whatever you want to call them. Can we fight a little bit more? Like, the villain killed the nurse, and then he killed the doctor. Pretty weak kills, and him and Morbius fall. I can tell later. But the villain, cringe. Insanely cringe. They even find a way to pull off the Tobey. You remember the Tobey Maguire dance scene? They do something like that in the movie where the villain is dancing in his dressing room. And it's so cringe. That's what I'm talking about. You will laugh. You will laugh at this movie because it's bad. Not because it's, funny. Because it's bad. It's just a bad movie. And I don't even say movies are bad. I'm probably never said a movie. Well, I probably have. But still, it's just like, are you serious? Were there no trying? So the villain, he dances. And it's like, what are you doing? And then he switches back until this to this person who's jealous of Morbius, and I never got that. They probably should have had another cutscene, another scene where that was implied that he was, you know, a slightly bit jealous because they seem like brothers, but I mean, they power corrupts. But it's kind of like, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's kind of what it left me. It's just like, it's so many times where I laughed at the movie instead of laughing with the movie. That's what I'm really trying to say. And the villain was just so cringy. I just don't understand. Like I did say though, the powers were cool. The fight scenes between them two were cool. I feel like they should have fought. I'm trying to think how many times did they fight. I felt like it should have been more fighting in the movie, just like Venom 2. Should have been more fighting in the movie. Hey, cough up the big bucks. You're gonna make some real money, man. Sony, Marvel gonna put the fight scenes in, bro. If you wanna make something, do something. Put the money in. Pay them VFX artists they need. Really, they deserve a lot of money. VFX artists, hey, you ask for however much money you want, cause bruh, they about animating the whole entire movie. But this Morbius movie, man, I'm just surprised. I didn't think it was gonna be this trash. Like, as the movie is going along, I'm like, what is the direction? What is the direction? I about saw the whole movie through trailers. And I kind of wanted more, and it seemed like they cut from the movie. Like I'm pretty sure we're gonna start seeing or at least the director's cut of this movie. But I'm also confused on why Jared Leto believed this was going to be good, because he's kind of championing it and he's kind of proud of it. I don't know. He's the only one, literally. I don't see anybody else. A Marvel legend, yeah. If I was Jared Leto, I would have told him, like, bro, I'm only going to do these ads. I'm not doing no more ads because this movie is garbage. I don't know between the time in January and April what got cut from the movie, but something might have got cut from the movie where it just made it utter garbage. You couldn't pay me to watch this movie again. You couldn't pay me. Like, I thought it was supposed to be another aspect with Tyrese and his metal arm. I thought they showed in the trailer. I guess not. This movie was confusing because it was so bad. It was so bad. I'm being very serious. It was so bad. And it's kind of like, who is the head of Sony right now and who is clearing this? And I got to say something. Aaron Taylor Johnson, man, I know you're doing that Craven movie. I know it's coming up. You may want to reconsider if the same people that produced this Morbius are behind you. You may want to reconsider. I think they're starting to push it more and more. Venom was an exception because we love Venom. We don't love Morbius. Who loves Morbius? Who said, you know what, man? Morbius, yes, man, I love Morbius. We love Venom. I love Venom. But do we really love Morbius? We kind of should have saw this coming after Venom 2 was kind of a letdown. You look at what Venom 2 had to play with, and it's like, how do you fail? And the thing they try to do, which even makes it worse, is they start planning a sequel 20 minutes before the first movie is done. Don't even mention a sequel before this is done. Finish your plate now before you try to, remake the next one. The teasers for the end of Morbius is when the nurse bites Morbius and gets a little bit of blood, and then he bites the nurse, and then she wakes up at the end. She had nothing to do in this movie, so what is she going to do in the second one? Lover's quarrel? And Morbius with this weird sense of, let me drink synthetic blood. You're a vampire. You're a vampire. So I at least needed that to be clear before the movie ended. He still is running around with this synthetic blood mentality. No, you're a vampire. Go bite somebody's neck. I know COVID and all. But go bite somebody's neck, bruh. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, this movie was so confusing because it has no direction and it has nothing. Now, is that it? Is that it for the part before we break into the post-credit scene? The post-credit scene for this movie, it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to say the least. It starts with the rift in the sky opening and Adrian Toomes appears in a jail cell. And then he is freed from said jail cell. And then I'm trying to remember. So he spawns in the cell. He spawns in a cell. He then goes, tells the news or tells the people. Then they release him because they're like, you're from another universe. So they release him. Then another set of credits roll. Then you see Morbius driving in a car. You can fly. But he's driving in a sports car to a desert. He uses his little echolocation powers. Vulture pulls up and he says, I don't know how I'm here. Probably the work of our friendly Spider-Man. And then he says, maybe we should stick together. Something like that. And Morbius was like, yeah, we should. How does Adrian Toomes go to another universe, find an exact same suit, find Morbius because he invites him to the desert, and then say we should team up against Spider-Man? That's not even Morbius' whole deal. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. I should have watched this movie illegally because it makes no sense. What are they talking about? What does Morbius even know about Spider-Man? He never brought up Spider-Man once in the movie. He brought up Venom. And they even cut that up. In the trailer, he said, I am Venom. And then he said, oh no, I'm just your friendly Dr. Michael Morbius. And this one, he just says, I am Venom. And continues. That was weird. So it was a lot of cutting going on in this movie. A lot of cutting. Just cutting and throwing. But back to the post-credit scene. I'm just confused on the direction of the movie and what they want to do. Because I'm not watching a Morbius 2. And if this is some sort of Sinister Six build-up, how are you building up a Sinister Six and you don't even have a Spider-Man in your universe? Now, the smartest thing to do, that they can save this all. Miles Morales. I hate to say it because I love Dog. But that's the only way where he can be the Spider-Man of all their universes. Venom, Morbius, Kraven, all of that. And now including Vulture. He can save us all. Miles Morales can save us all. Now, that would be very disrespectful and racist to Miles Morales to surround him around with this trash. But, hey, I'll give you an idea, Sony. Execute it if you want. Pay me if you want. But no, that post-credit scene was so weird. It was just weird. I don't know what they thought was going on. I don't know what they thought what happened. It kind of even made the movie worse. It made the movie worse, to be honest. Final verdict. This movie is a joke. I don't look at people's reviews and be like, oh, I gotta go on with a cloudy mind, some random dude on the internet said so, but they are very true. This isn't a good movie. Besides the powers that look cool, there is nothing else cool about this movie. Besides the powers, there is nothing cool about this movie. There is no chemistry in this movie. This movie should have been longer. Movie should have been rated R. Should have been rated R. Sony, you got to start leaning into a different crowd because you're not going to pick the same crowd that the MCU is picking up because it's random. Who cares about these random Spider-Man villains? I fear for Kraven. I fear for Kraven the Hunter. I really do. Yeah, shame. But our final verdict, man. The movie is a joke. I'm glad it's a Sony project, so it doesn't have to involve anything MCU. This movie is a joke, man. I don't even say that about movies. That's how you know. I don't even say that about movies. This movie has no direction. I'm still confused after watching the movie. I'm like, what did I just watch? 2 hours of my life gone for this trash. Morbius in theaters now. I mean, if you want to see it to laugh, I suggest you see it. Go see it. Go see it. If you want to laugh. I don't know what else you would want to do. This movie was weird. It wasn't good. That's crazy. I give it a 4.5 out of 10. It is what it is, man. We got some more movies coming up later down the line. We got a real Marvel movie coming up in a couple months. Shout out Doctor Strange. Other than that, I may do some other reviews for the Northman and like the Everywhere, all that movie too. So yeah, like, subscribe, all that good business if you feel like it. Bye.